they ended up getting control of the game, and we thought we hung in there and can't win if we give the ball away. You know what I mean? Period. And I'm not, there's a lot of things that go into that. Look, at the end of the day, you just got to keep working and try to do your job the best you can. We can't control one another's jobs, but we have to try to work and continue to improve each one of us.
The Las Vegas Raiders have only played 8 games in the regular season, but it didn't take them long following their Monday Night Football defeat for them to decide that they were headed in the wrong direction. And what seems to be a trend recently is all of the craziest news in sports is coming out at 1 a.m. Eastern time. Yesterday it was the James Harden trade and of course the Monday Night Meltdown, and now Las Vegas Raiders completely are overhauling their front office just 8 games into their season. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we got all that out of the way, leading up to the season, I spammed predictions at you guys consistently. Michael Porter Jr. needed over 5.5 rebounds in his season debut. Tyreek Hill just needed a touchdown, and Steph Curry just needed 1 point. Shout out to those that tailed. For those of you guys that were able to make money, we're giving away our picks for free all season long for the NBA and NFL on my Instagram at @TheFlightMike. And right now, when you use promo code Microphone on Prize Picks, they'll match your deposit up until $100. Thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? 24 hours ago, I brought you a late night video on how angry Davante Adams was with the Las Vegas Raiders, and the reason why is very obvious. Davante Adams primarily came to the Las Vegas Raiders to play with Derek Carr. He really didn't have much of a choice. Davante Adams' back was against the wall when he realized his quarterback Aaron Rodgers might not be with the Green Bay Packers for very much longer, so he couldn't really commit to the Green Bay Packers back in the summer of 2022 because Aaron Rodgers' future was uncertain. With that being said, Davante Adams opted for the next best thing, a situation where he felt like he could control his own destiny, a quarterback that he already had familiarity with. He decided to take less money and accept a trade to the Las Vegas Raiders, reuniting him with Derek Carr. Now, in year 1 with the Las Vegas Raiders, despite going to a new team with a brand new coach and a brand new offense for both Derek Carr and Davante Adams didn't miss a beat. He put up the second most receiving yards in his career, over 1,500 receiving yards, and scoring 14 touchdowns. But unfortunately, due to Derek Carr's struggles under his first year with Josh McDaniels' offense, and Josh McDaniels just being on this manifest destiny to start as many of his old players as humanly possible, the Las Vegas Raiders decided to move on from Derek Carr. Mind you, this was 1 season removed from Derek Carr getting a huge 3-year, $121.5 million contract extension, which was a reward for having the greatest season of his career in 2021, leading the Las Vegas Raiders to a playoff berth under interim head coach Rich Bisaccia, who stepped in once John Gruden resigned due to his email incident following the Henry Ruggs tragedy and whatever the this is from Damon Arnett. Now, one would assume that if you happen to be a team that is consistently cycling through head coaches, that is struggling to make it to the playoffs, if you had an interim head coach step in and lead you to your first playoff berth in 5 years, you would extend the head coach. But of course, due to beautiful Raiders logic, they decided to hire a guy who was last fired from his job as a head coach in the NFL because he got caught in 4K filming his opponent's practices, and as a result had to step down. The Las Vegas Raiders, for some reason, felt like Josh McDaniels was going to be different than their previous head coaching flops. So they chose Josh McDaniels over their best quarterback in almost 17 years, which means they moved on from Derek Carr 1 season removed from extending him just to appease Josh McDaniels so Josh McDaniels could upgrade to Jimmy Garoppolo. In the offseason, Davante Adams was skeptical about this decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I came here, I wouldn't have been here or ended up here originally probably, if Derek wasn't here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be here, in the event that he's not here. That's my boy. Obviously, I got his back and everything. I think I've made that more than clear at this point, and I support him and support everything that he has, moving forward as well. But, my dream was to play for this team before he was a Raider, obviously, and at this point, I want to, obviously try to make this thing work and continue on doing what I'm doing here, and myself get better, and obviously see the team grow and get better as well.
And in our last video, we showed you how Josh McDaniels didn't seem to care. He swept it under the rug.
Yeah, Tay and I have a great relationship. I know he does with Dave as well, and he's here every day. And I didn't read the whole thing, so I don't really know exactly, every nook and cranny of that. But I don't think there's much drama here in terms of, my relationship, his relationship with us, the way he works, the way he goes about his business. Obviously, had a great year last year, and just looking forward to year 2.
And throughout the season, it seemed like Davante Adams was just really frustrated with the Las Vegas Raiders offense. I mean, following their victory versus the Green Bay Packers, he said this.
It more was about, not even making it as close as what it was, because a game like that, we need to have some type of convincing victories. That way we can really hold on to that feeling, not the feeling of just squeezing out. Obviously, defense did a great job coming through in the clutch at the end of the game, but we didn't do much to help them out there, and we haven't been this year. So that's more what I'm focused on, rather than just squeezing victories by and being happy at that. I feel like there's more to take from, a game than just a win or loss. Depending on, you can be on either side. Obviously, you'd rather win regardless, but you can win a game and look, and we've done that too many times. So
before kind of criticizing his lack of targets here,
I'm sure people thinking like, they won the game, they won the Packers game, so why is there an issue? You see why it's an issue. Y'all should know who I am, know what I'm about at this point. So it's not about, when you're a player like me mentally, my benchmark is not wins and losses, it's greatness. So when I go out there, I expect to be able to have that ability to put that on tape and have an influence on the game. And that's, like I say every week, that's my purpose for being here.
Before looking visibly upset at how poorly the Las Vegas Raiders played on Monday Night Football. This was a game where Jimmy Garoppolo only completed 10 of his passes, but if you're a Raider fan, you either fall into the camp that it's Jimmy Garoppolo's fault or that's Josh McDaniels' fault, or both. But regardless, Davante Adams was getting missed, and Jimmy G targeted him 6 different times. He only came down with 1 reception. Following this ugly defeat on Monday Night Football, star running back Josh Jacobs was asked if he knows how he would fix the Raiders' offensive woes, and he said, "I don't know. It ain't my job." Davante Adams tried his best to stay professional when he was asked his opinion of the offense, and he said this.
Honestly, I don't know what to say at this moment. I truly don't. I wish I had the words to say something that's not going to get blown up in the media and taken out of context. So I'm gonna just, I just don't know.
What are you feeling right now? Can you elaborate on anything going through your mind?
Frustration, but I mean, that kind of goes without saying.
Davante, I know you said that you have confidence whenever you're out there in the offense's ability, but is it kind of hard to maintain that when the results are what they've been?
No, it's not hard to maintain the confidence in our offense. It's just hard to curb your frustration when you can't put it together when you know you should.
And I suppose Mark Davis saw all that he needed to see, because following the Las Vegas Raiders Monday Night Football loss, one thing was apparent. There's no way you could trade Davante Adams right now. I understand that at the time it was the trade deadline, but once again, you don't acquire star wide receivers in the middle of the season. It just doesn't work. NFL offenses are complicated. It takes a long time to integrate a player like a wide receiver into the offense. So the Las Vegas Raiders did the only thing that they could. It's something that they should have done a long time ago. According to Adam Schefter, sources, the Las Vegas Raiders fired head coach Josh McDaniels and general manager Dave Ziegler. The Raiders issued this statement. The Raiders have relieved Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler of their duties as head coach and general manager. After much thought about what the Raiders need to move forward, I've decided to part ways with Josh and Dave. I want to thank them both for their hard work and wish them and their families nothing but the best, said Las Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis. It's just crazy how Josh McDaniels once again did the exact same thing. He pulls up to a team, he trades their starting quarterback, and eventually the ownership gets cold feet and then fires him. That being said, the Raiders really didn't have much of a choice here. You could have waited till the end of the season, but in this particular instance, maybe the interim head coach performs really well, and maybe this time you actually retain him, because the Raiders are making linebacker coach Antonio Pierce their interim head coach, per Adam Schefter. He was a Pro Bowl linebacker for the Giants during his playing career. I mean, hey, last time this happened, it resulted in the Raiders making it to the playoffs, finding their franchise QB of the future, moving on from the interim head coach that got him there, and it was literally 2 seasons ago. 1 season later, they decided to move on from Derek Carr and Rich Bisaccia and bring in Josh McDaniels. It seems like there's no logic in the decisions that are being made for the Raiders. It's almost as if they flip a coin and decide whether or not they should make a decision. At the very least, it's not like you're in a situation where you have no assets. You still have Josh Jacobs under contract for 1 more season. You can't trade him. The trade deadline's passed. You have Davante Adams on a long-term contract. Jimmy Garoppolo's contract isn't that bad, and this was a season where Derek Carr was going to count against your dead cap anyway. So you could be in a much worse situation right now, especially asset-wise, but the Raiders really need to find a head coach and commit to that head coach and general manager once they find him. It seems like they've been doing this for so long, and I can't stand here with a straight face and tell you it's going to be any different moving forward. They made the right move in firing Josh McDaniels, but anyone could have told you from the very beginning Josh McDaniels is a hack. Now, here's the Las Vegas Raiders' plan for the foreseeable future. They're leaning towards starting rookie QB Aiden O'Connell at QB in Week 9 against the Giants via Vonnie Bonsignore. Josh McDaniels signed Jimmy G to a $72.5 million contract in free agency, and he's been a disaster, leading the NFL with 9 interceptions. So maybe Josh McDaniels learned his lesson. I'm not necessarily sure. I don't know how many times we've seen Bill Belichick clones from the Bill Belichick coaching tree trying to go to a new team and try to turn that team into their version of the New England Patriots. But if betting the house on Brian Hoyer last year in the final weeks of the season, except his first week when he played for the Raiders replacing Derek Carr, wasn't enough evidence that you shouldn't try to build miniature versions of the Patriots whenever you take over your team, then maybe going all in on Jimmy Garoppolo and having Jimmy Garoppolo perform terribly on national television is enough to drive the point home. Regardless, I don't really think Josh McDaniels is going to ever get another chance again as a head coach in the NFL. This was probably his last chance. But in terms of the Las Vegas Raiders, what I think they're trying to do here is tank for Caleb Williams. We all know what this is. Essentially, the Las Vegas Raiders are entering the tanking race in hopes of getting themselves a player like Caleb Williams or Drake May. And to be honest, I'm here for it. There's nothing to play for anymore in this season. We found out who their general manager is going to be in the meantime. Not like the general manager really is going to do much, considering that the trade deadline passed. I'm getting the opinion that the Raiders are probably going to retain this guy just based upon the language they're using in the announcement. According to Adam Schefter, with the Raiders firing GM Dave Ziegler, their assistant general manager Champ Kelly now takes over as the interim general manager. Kelly has interviewed for other general manager jobs and is highly regarded across the league. So let me know in the comment section down below, Raiders fans, how do you feel about this decision? Do you have any optimism moving forward? Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.